Did you know that we have 6 attachment needs? And these attachment needs are not something that we just look for in childhood. We look for them in every relationship, in all of our adult relationships, and they can even show up in our professional relationships as well as our personal ones. Stick around if you want to find out more. According to Gabor, Maté and Neufeld, there are 6 attachment needs that we all seek in our relationships. They're not just something that occurs in childhood, but they also occur in adulthood as well. As children, these attachment needs are necessary for our survival, as they're important to keep us safe, to protect us from danger, and as we get older and hit puberty, give us the opportunity to have intimate relationships and produce children. When we're adults, these attachment needs can still get played out in our relationships, both personally and professionally, because we're still often running the patterns of behavior that we learned as children to get those needs met. When we recognize what our 6 attachment needs are, it makes it easier for us to recognize why some relationships have difficulty or are complicated, and also why we might need to acknowledge what another person is seeking when it comes to the relationship with us. The first attachment need that we seek is physical closeness or our senses. So this is attachment through physicality. Now, this won't necessarily show up in relationships that are not intimate in adulthood. So they might show up in some sense in friendships, but it's more related to intimate relationships, and it's not likely to show up in our professional relationships. The second one is sameness, which is feeling that we are similar or that we are like another person. Now, these ones are very common in friendships, in families. We often feel ostracized or left out, or we don't fit in if we can't find similarities with people. It might trigger us into avoidant strategies where we will withdraw or pull back from people because we can't find that similarity that makes us feel connected. The third one is significance. Now, this is hugely important because this one shows up in many, many relationships. So we need to feel like we matter, or that we are valued, or that we're important. And so in our professional relationships, our significance often gets played out in feeling disappointed or frustrated when we don't get praised or acknowledged. It can get played out in feeling resentment when somebody else might get praised above you. Or it can even be difficult for managers or people in senior roles to praise other people, because by giving that other person significance, it may make them feel a little bit less. The next one is belonging and loyalty. So we want to feel like we belong in a group, in an organization, in a family. We want to feel that we are connected to these people and that they're loyal to us, that they're not going to betray us. And again, this is one that's important in professional roles, but also in personal roles. It's important that we feel that our partner is loyal, that they're not going to betray us or talk about us behind our back. The same with our friendships. We want to believe that the people that are connected to us see a loyalty and a belonging with us that matters. The next attachment need is feelings. So these are our emotional feelings, our feelings of love, our feelings of care, our feelings of connection to somebody else, and the fact that those feelings get reciprocated. Obviously, in intimate relationships, these are deeper needs and they're more apparent, but they do show up in our friendships and our work relationships as well, where we want to feel liked and to like the other people around us too. The last attachment need is probably the most elusive and the one that we often find the most difficult to achieve, and that is being known. So that is being understood, being known for who we are. It can be very difficult to achieve this if we're using avoidant attachment strategies, because somebody with an avoidant attachment strategy is often inclined to inhibit their emotions, hide their negative emotions or their true feelings, which means being known can be quite difficult because it can be easy to be misinterpreted in what you're saying or doing, especially if you've been hiding maybe frustration for a period of time and then it explodes in intrusive negative effect suddenly, and people then can't understand where it's come from. If somebody is inclined to express their emotions, so somebody who has an anxious or coercive attachment strategy, they might express their emotions quite a lot in their frustrations, in protest behaviors, in withdrawal behaviors, in gaslighting, stonewalling, very often patterns of coercive attachment. And that can mean then that they're often misunderstood because we see the emotion first and not recognize that there might be a need behind that, an attachment need of being known or being understood. It can also mean that if somebody is displaying this emotion, another person may find that they're not understood because it doesn't give a whole lot of space for them to explain themselves or to put their own point across. Once you begin to view your relationships through the lens of attachment needs, it will change how you relate to other people, because you can ask the question, what is this person really looking for? Or when we feel ourselves becoming frustrated or irritated by something, you can ask, what is it that I'm looking for? Is it that I don't feel the sameness or the likeness with this other person? Is it that I feel that I don't belong? Or perhaps I feel that I'm not understood and I'm not known? When we recognize that, it can change how we relate to other people, because it means we can either push to get that need met by achieving that closeness or that intimacy with that other person, or we can recognize that perhaps that relationship cannot meet that need and we need to find how to meet that need somewhere else in another relationship. If you're interested in this video, check out some of my other videos. If you're interested in working with me as your coach, then please get in touch. I'm really happy to have a chat with you about how that might